Welcome to the 2021 Miami-Dade Beacon Council annual meeting, presented by Florida Power and Light. On today's program, our outgoing chair speaks to the dozens of companies growing in Miami-Dade County and what has been a record-breaking year for economic development. Our incoming chair will share why he is so committed to this community and his vision for what is next. And Miami-Dade Mayor Daniella Levine Cava details efforts to attract and expand even more business in our community. Today's meeting is broadcasting from the most beautiful place on the planet and the best place to do business, Miami-Dade County. Please welcome your host, Miami-Dade Beacon Council President and CEO, Michael Finney.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Finney, President and CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. Welcome to our 2021 annual meeting. Thanks so much for making time to join us this afternoon as we recap what was an incredibly successful year for Miami-Dade's business community. We've always known that it's our people, entrepreneurial, diverse, and resilient, that set us apart. This year, it's our people, working together with one another, that helped us emerge from a global pandemic. In addition to working with dozens of companies, large and small, that were looking to expand or relocate to Miami, we expanded our reach in this vibrant community to support workforce initiatives and dedicated programs for our small businesses. We partnered on new apprenticeships and launched new strategic platforms that strive to find solutions for the challenges we face today and tomorrow, all the while maintaining our focus on attracting high-value, knowledge-intensive jobs and investments that drive long-term inclusive prosperity for Miami-Dade residents and businesses. We've got a lot of great news to share, including our annual report, which will be able to download directly from this site while you're watching the meeting. But we need to start by thanking today's sponsors, Boeing, CareerSource South Florida, and our presenting sponsor, Florida Power and Light. Let's hear a few words from the FPL team and how they have been powering success over the last year.
We're always looking the future straight in the eye. When the future said, cut back on foreign oil, we tore down the old plans and made way for clean, American-made natural gas. Then it said, reach for the sun, so we reached all right. With more solar panels than anyone, we absorb the sun's energy, convert it, and even store it for later. Then the future asked, can we be even more reliable? We can, we gotta. And when it said we'll need zero carbon emissions, we said, okay, let's make energy from this, water. It's called green hydrogen. Just grab some sun, add water, and there, cleaner energy for all of us. So we keep planning, preparing, investing, because Florida deserves, my generation deserves a future we can depend on. Looking pretty good to me.
Thank you, Mayor Levine Cava, for your leadership and support. And thank you to our Board of County Commissioners, especially Chairman Diaz, Vice Chairman Gilbert, and Beacon Council Board Representative Commissioner Regalado. We appreciate your partnership and commitment to bringing out the best of Miami-Dade County. Our mission as Miami-Dade County's official economic development partnership is fairly straightforward: attract high-value jobs and investment to this community, and assist existing businesses in expanding in Miami-Dade County. Marketing Miami as a world-class business destination is an integral part of what we do, and our community dominated headlines this year. Business leaders, company moves, innovations, talent, opportunity. It was all featured in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Forbes, Bloomberg, and our own local outlets, the Miami Herald, South Florida Business Journal, Miami Community News, Refresh Miami, NBC, CBS, Univision, and more. Social media amplified the reach of an incredibly engaged audience that brought us hundreds of champions telling their own Why Miami stories. We seized on that, showcasing it in targeted campaigns with Fortune magazine and in a video series featuring testimonials from CEO ambassadors sharing their passion for this place and what it offers. These are the stories we targeted to business leaders around the world, and the response has been great. While working with businesses that are looking to expand and relocate is always at the core of what we do, the scope of economic development has grown much wider, especially in a community like ours, and especially in the wake of the pandemic. Our team has expanded services and now drives a series of initiatives that contribute to the wealth, health, and evolution of our local economy. For years, we've led 10 target industry committees that allow for networking, ecosystem building, and projects that support continued growth. 36 committee meetings were held this year, from trade and logistics to aviation, international, and our new leaders task force. Banking and finance and creative both held joint sessions with one of our most active committees, technology. And our urban initiatives task force continues to work on identifying ways to match qualified, diverse professionals with companies and organizations looking to build an inclusive board. We thank our committee chairs for their time, passion, and leadership. Over the last year, we have also been localizing a statewide effort to confront the opioid crisis in our community. Project Opioid Miami-Dade mobilizes business, government, and community and philanthropic leaders to help address the overdose crisis in our community. Supported by Florida Blue Foundation, we have assembled a committed leadership council that includes Maria Alonzo from United Way, Sheldon Anderson of Grove Bank and Trust, George Foyo, LJ International, Penny Schaefer of Florida Blue, and Viviana Oragian, University of Miami. On the talent development front, we partnered with SoftBank to sponsor Miami-Dade-based fellows from underrepresented communities in Correlation One's Data Science for All upskilling initiative. We also partnered with Bean Automotive Group, Miami-Dade College, and CareerSource South Florida to roll out a paid automotive tech apprenticeship program as part of our Miami Community Ventures Initiative, or MCV. MCV is a collective impact initiative designed to connect low-income, structurally unemployed individuals to living wage jobs and a career pathway. Our target audience is Miami-Dade residents who are receiving public assistance, returning citizens, and disabled individuals living in communities with a poverty rate of at least 20%. More than 40 community partners and supporters work with us to not only help secure living wage jobs, but provide critically needed wraparound services, including success coaching, transportation, financial literacy, and childcare. We have dozens of success stories from Jonathan, a blind client who works at Florida Blue in partnership with Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired, to Elizabeth, a Head Start mom who is now making $18 an hour at CVS. JP Morgan Chase is a major private funder of MCV. They also partnered with us on career fairs and a financial literacy series and have hired 7 candidates to date. This year, MCV placed 158 candidates, earning an average hourly wage of $17.10 per hour. That's 123% of Miami-Dade County's living wage. 36% of placements were returning citizens, and 84% are in communities with 20% or higher poverty rates. These MCV placements benefit employees, their families, and employers through improved employment status, retention rates, and productivity and inclusive economic mobility for generations to come. We thank all of our partners, including Miami-Dade County, OIC of South Florida, CareerSource South Florida, JP Morgan Chase, Florida Blue, and more than 40 sponsors and employers that help us bring MCV to life. MCV also launched an entrepreneurship track this year, focusing on Black and Latinx female entrepreneurs in partnership with Bank of America. MCV is collaborating with another Beacon Council program launched in response to the pandemic, our Small Business Accelerator, or SBX. SBX is an integrated technical assistance initiative designed to provide comprehensive business growth and resiliency services to Black and Latinx small and micro business enterprises. In Miami-Dade County, SBX is funded by Rockefeller Foundation. With dozens of partners that have committed to support both the Bank of America MCV track and the Rockefeller Foundation funded track, we are eager to deploy these much needed resources to small businesses in our own backyard, which we know are integral to Miami-Dade's success. You may have also heard we are launching Opportunity Miami, a new and reimagined version of One Community, One Goal. A new platform meant to help catalyze a vision for Greater Miami's economic future and rally the community to create it. Opportunity Miami will focus on 3 critical areas of our community's success: innovation and entrepreneurship, talent and inclusion, and sustainability and resilience. The goal is to drive action toward solutions by framing questions around our most pressing issues, elevating good ideas about how to address them, giving a voice to our champions, and measuring our progress as a community. You'll see new questions raised each month and are invited to tackle it publicly through digital media and events. Learning together as we go, We invite you to log on to opportunity.miami and to follow our social media handles at OpportunityMIA to learn more and get your voices heard. One of the voices we've been always able to count on is that of our outgoing chair, Gary Goldfarb. So before I hand it off to our incoming chair, I'd like to extend one final thank you to Gary for his commitment in council over the last year. He is incredibly bullish on Miami, always has been, and we're lucky to have him channel his energy into helping make this the most connected, innovative, global hub it can be.
Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Florida Power & Light, to Career Source South Florida, Boeing, and our other annual meeting sponsors for your support. The city we knew a year ago is not the same city we live in today. None of us could have predicted the momentum Miami-Dade County is experiencing as we emerge from a pandemic. Our community stands in a different place, stronger than ever. As Mike mentioned earlier, this year has been a testament to the welcoming environment and resiliency of our city and its people. These assets have been reinforced by the collaboration between our local elected officials, community leaders, and the business community who have worked together even more closely during these unusual times. Miami has taken the spotlight with daily headlines, news coverage, and conversations about the strengths of our community as a serious business destination trending on social media. We have finally taken a permanent and prominent position, not just on the national front, but internationally as well. This success did not happen overnight or by itself. It comes from years of strategic planning, development, and investment in our community's economic future. The Beacon Council has worked diligently over the last year to support 32 companies expanding or relocating to Miami-Dade County. They have committed to the creation of almost 5,000 new high-value direct jobs that will generate more than 8,500 indirect jobs throughout this community. This is the highest number of job commitments in the Beacon's 36-year history. Even more incredible is the economic impact these jobs will have on this community. The employees in those 13,527 new jobs will enjoy an annual disposable personal income of $781 million. That means that these families will be able to spend money on entertainment, restaurants, and other activities in addition to paying for housing, insurance, and other basic expenditures. Another new high reached this year: average salary. The average salary of almost 5,000 new direct jobs is more than $120,000 a year. This is about twice the average wage for jobs in Miami-Dade County. The total payroll amount paid each year by these companies is about $603 million, and collectively, these companies will invest over $229 million in construction and equipment to operate their business. Most impressive is the total annual economic impact on Miami-Dade County: $926 million. Yes, these 32 companies, their investments, and the jobs that they're committing to will generate an annual economic impact just shy of $1 billion. This is why the efforts of the Beacon Council are so important to the growth of our community, and why I am so proud to have been part of this organization for so many years. Looking at this year's projects more closely, 38% represent corporate headquarters, including CI Financial, ACE Group, ACI Worldwide, Blackstone, Barry's, and Kaseya, to name a few. Our international presence has always been strong, and this year was no exception. We had projects from Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Israel, Italy, Spain, and the UK. This last year, we also noticed certain trends with the companies choosing Miami. Financial services relocations include Blackstone, CI Financial, and Schoenfeld. Miami Tech jobs from Blockchain.com, Wix, Globant, and Ford Autonomous Vehicles. Content creators and creativity with companies like North Equity, the parent company of the leading titles including Popular Science, Popular Mechanics, Domino, and Savior. Global PR firm Allison & Partners. Rapidly growing local media production company Clutch. We continue to attract best-in-class aviation and MRO companies like Sato and LGT. Health and health tech companies like WannaCare, Total Life, iTrack Health, and Demetec, and companies supporting Miamians' active lifestyles and penchant for entertainment, including Destination Sports Miami, Barry's, and Gym Edge. Last year, I spoke about my top priorities for Miami-Dade: strengthening and developing our talent pipeline and providing our workforce, especially displaced workers, opportunities to upskill and reskill so they could participate in this economy, including more apprenticeship programs to educate our students for the jobs of the future, high-paying, knowledge-based jobs that help to strengthen our local economy and competitiveness. Today, it gives me great pleasure to say that our local talent is finally getting the recognition it deserves, with companies like Schoenfeld, Blackstone, and Globant noting that talent is their main driver in choosing Miami. Beyond focusing on talent, another big initiative this year was focusing on Miami Community Ventures, the Beacon Council's Foundation's Collective Impact Program, which connects low-income structurally unemployed individuals to living wage jobs and long-term career pathways. They closed another successful year with the help of 50-plus partners, supporters, and funders. Mike will speak to this a little bit more, as well as to other dedicated initiatives, including Beacon's Small Business Accelerator and Project Opioid. This year, our community has come together like never before, and I thank the Beacon Council for trusting me and placing their confidence in me over the last year. Our numbers speak for themselves, and I am so proud of how we were able to close this year out. I want to thank our officers who have volunteered their time and provided guidance to this organization, counseled to me, and helped drive long-term positive change for our community. Our treasurer, Olga Ramudo, a champion not only for the travel and tourism industry, but all of Miami-Dade. Secretary Yolanda Cash Jackson, shareholder at Becker, your strong reputation in the community, leadership, and commitment to civic, charitable, and professional organizations is what sets you apart. And our incoming chair, George Bermudez, Senior Vice President of Bank of America. I have no doubt that your passion for building a better Miami will help continue our momentum and offer companies and entrepreneurs a world-class environment to do business. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to have chaired this organization, and to thank the team at Interport for allowing me the time to spend on the Beacon Council and for leading the way in supply chain matters. I also want to thank my wife, who puts up with me, and my now 6 children, who work hard at keeping me grounded. I believe each and every one of you attending today have the ability to lead. Find your voice, find your passion, and join this party. This next video highlights some of that party, including a spotlight on our 2020-2021 projects and our recent key ceremony sponsored by Amazon, Kaufman Rawson, and CBI Workplace Solutions.
There is an excitement in Miami-Dade County, and the Beacon Council is catching it.
2021 has been a historic year for the Beacon Council and Miami-Dade County.
This past year, we were able to accomplish record-breaking numbers, a testament to the welcoming environment created by government and the business community working together.
In 2021, the Beacon Council partnered with 32 companies representing 8 different countries: Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Israel, Italy, Spain, the UK, and the US. These projects brought nearly 5,000 new direct jobs to Miami-Dade County, with an average salary of $120,000. 38% of these projects were in urban priority areas. The more than 13,500 direct and indirect jobs will generate $781 million in disposable income annually, allowing residents to not only afford basic needs like housing and insurance, but be able to spend on dining, entertainment, and other activities. Most importantly, these 32 companies and the almost 14,000 combined new jobs they are producing will generate an annual economic impact of $926 million for Miami-Dade County. Yes, almost $1 billion annually for our community.
This has been the most exciting period in my professional growth and development in this work. It's rare that you have an opportunity to come to a place where businesses are showing up in mass.
The past 12 months illuminated emerging trends for the county across a variety of sectors, featuring high-profile expansions and headquarter relocations. Financial services like Blackstone, CI Financial, Schonfeld Strategic Advisors, and ACI Worldwide are committing to Miami, bringing almost 1,800 jobs in this sector alone.
ACI Worldwide is a leading global company that provides software for real-time payment solutions to corporations. We decided to look at a city that could give us access to talent, could give us better access to markets that we want to operate in, give us better access to our customers globally and to our investors. And Miami came out head above shoulders against the other cities.
Miami Tech continues to expand, making more than just headlines. Companies like Kaseya, Blockchain.com, Wix, Globant, and Ford's Autonomous Vehicles division are responsible for another 2,000 career opportunities.
We've been working hand in hand with Miami-Dade County and the Beacon Council to think about what our growth looks like in the market and help prepare the workforce for the autonomous vehicle jobs of the future.
Wix is a tech company that's based here out of Miami, originally from Tel Aviv, that is a website building company that helps everyone from smaller businesses and websites to multi-million-dollar businesses create a website online.
Globant grows wherever there is availability of talent, wherever there is this culture of challenging the status quo, going for more, embracing an entrepreneurial spirit, an entrepreneurial culture. So we found in Miami a great place to establish ourselves and grow. And that's why in April this year, we announced the creation of 150 new jobs on top of our current staff.
Always known as an inspiring destination ripe with diverse, world-class talent, creative minds continued to gravitate to Miami in 2021. North Equity brought their digital media portfolio, which includes Popular Science, Saveur, and Domino, among other titles, joining public relations firm Allison & Partners in the move.
When you think about cities that are poised to win over the next coming decades, Miami is really at the top of the list.
Clutch Content Partners, a local media company of Emmy Award-winning content creators, chose to pivot during the pandemic and vastly expanded their portfolio of services, as well as their production team.
Beacon Council has been actually an influence in our business over the years. We've been behind the scenes sort of capturing their story and in the process picking up a lot of great ideas, a lot of insight into what makes a business successful. And they've set us up with different collaborations in the community, different organizations that have made us better.
Aviation and MRO, industries that are core strengths for this community, continue to attract best-in-class providers like Sato and Landing Gear Technologies.
With the help of the Beacon Council in Miami-Dade, we were able to expand into a 128,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. We are now considered the world's largest independently owned landing gear facility, and we're proud to be in Miami.
The active lifestyle sector saw growth thanks to Destination Sport Miami, Barry's, and Jimmage. And it's no surprise that the home to the country's largest healthcare district has strong representation among healthcare and health tech companies this year, including WannaCare, Total Life, iTrack Health, Dematech, Ace Group, and CCOP.
Even if you have a big business opportunity, you don't have the right talent. You cannot really capture the value. Now Miami is thriving, and for us as Europeans, to have access to talent is key to access the US market.
Leaders of these new projects were honored by Miami-Dade County and the Beacon Council for their investment and success, presented with keys to the city, celebrating the historic year and a look forward.
I am inspired, I am energized, I am excited for all the possibilities. Our leadership in Miami-Dade County has great vision for the future, and I'm excited that the Beacon Council and I will be a part of that.
And now, I am proud to hand things off to Mayor Daniella Levine Cava, achieving another first for Miami-Dade County last year, including as our first female mayor. Thank you for your dedication and hard work over the last year, and for your support and partnership in our economic development efforts on behalf of this community.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Miami-Dade Beacon Council 2021 annual meeting. Today's annual meeting is our opportunity to recap some of the remarkable work all of you at the Beacon Council have done in this last year to build a better, brighter future for Miami-Dade County. Even in the middle of a global pandemic, in a business environment fraught with disruption and uncertainty, the Beacon Council once again stepped up to deliver for our community, our residents, and our businesses. In fact, since last year's annual meeting, the Miami-Dade Beacon Council has completed 32 different projects with companies like North Equity, CI Financial, Blackstone, Ford, Wix, Demitech, Blockchain.com, and many more. Through this work, the Beacon Council has helped to create a record of nearly 5,000 new jobs in our community and facilitated $230 million of capital expenditure. These are truly transformative numbers. Just think about where we will be in 10 years' time if we keep this up, and we will. Of course, building Miami-Dade County into the leading global business hub that we all know it can be requires all of us to do our part and to forge new collaborations across sectors. For Miami-Dade County government, that means making the kinds of investments in our community that put all of you in a position to succeed. Over the past year, I'm proud to report that we've done just that. This year, Miami-Dade County and the Beacon Council partnered up to launch the Beacon Council CEO Ambassadorship Program, which leverages the networks of local CEOs to attract additional firms to our community. Every day, we're developing partnerships with local investors and venture capitalists to grow our local entrepreneurial and tech ecosystems. We all know that people are what drive our economy forward, and that is why we're also investing in the residents of Miami-Dade County. We're making historic investments to close the digital divide and prepare our workforce for the jobs and industries of the future. We're launching new programs to significantly expand workforce training and upskilling, working with partners like CareerSource South Florida, Miami-Dade College, Florida International University, and the University of Miami to prepare the next generation of change makers in Miami-Dade County for careers in new and exciting fields. We're also investing in our workforce by funding projects that will build a stronger, more resilient, better connected Miami-Dade. We're investing $260 million in affordable housing and helping to ensure that we can keep our homegrown talent at home. On the resilience front, we're continuing to lead communities around the world in mitigation and adaptation measures to keep Miami-Dade County open for business for generations to come. In fact, a real estate economist I met while attending COP26 in Glasgow earlier this month told me that our efforts on the resilience front will give us a competitive edge over other coastal communities around the world. Today, the outlook for Miami-Dade County, our residents, and our businesses could not be brighter. We beat back the Delta variant thanks in large part to our successful countywide vaccination program and the extraordinary contributions and sacrifices of our business community. We're continuing to welcome new businesses every day. Our residents are getting back to work, and we're making transformational investments in our economy that will make Miami-Dade County a place of opportunity for all families. In fact, Miami was ranked the most recovered economy in the nation, according to a just-released market report from JLL. To all of you who chose to do business with and in Miami-Dade County, thank you for making our community what it is today and for playing a role in shaping Miami-Dade into what we know it can be. Now we're going to be honoring somebody who has done a truly remarkable job in leading our community through a crazy year. Gary, while we will never be able to fully repay you for your contributions, we hope this tribute video can show you how much we all appreciate you.
Gary Goldfarb, our outgoing chair, has been active with the Miami-Dade Beacon Council for over a decade, and we are better for it. Chief Strategy Officer at Interport Logistics and a leader in Miami's trade and logistics community, Gary makes juggling commitments to numerous boards and committees, including the International Trade Consortium of Miami-Dade, talent development programs at FIU and Miami-Dade College, and more, look easy. He's passionate about Miami and our community's future, and isn't afraid to show it.
Remember, if you see something that needs to be fixed, fix it. Don't wait to be invited. Don't wait for permission. If you look around, there's likely someone there that is going to be willing to help. And if you say, someone should do something about that, that someone is you.
He takes that commitment to heart, really walks the walk. Just ask his family.
One kind of good story is during my wedding in Scotland, all of my now wife's family and friends from work and everything, all of them came up to me after the wedding and telling me that my dad was doing a selling job for kind of coming and living and how to do business down in South Florida. And I just thought it was kind of the perfect encapsulation about how much he loves his job and how much the Beacon Council is kind of his calling.
Because Gary is a huge fan of Miami, and to the point that we had some family that came in from Scotland on one of the cruise ships. And Gary took the day off from work, rented a large van, and he wanted to be the tour guide and show them the city that he loves so much and is really so passionate about. So we went from Wynwood to, of course, we hit Joe's Stone Crab, but all the development in the city and Brickell, and just really just showed them everything that with such enthusiasm and love for the city. And they were pretty impressed, by the way.
Gary isn't just excited about showing off this community. He's committed to building it. Instrumental to the development of the FIU's Logistics Engineering program, Gary volunteers regularly with students and actively works with our academic institutions, including Miami-Dade College and FIU, to support the growth of our talent pipeline for trade and logistics, an industry that is at the core of our identity and success as a highly connected global marketplace.
We understand that many in our community, many children in our community don't choose trade and logistics as a career simply because they don't know what it's for, what it does, and who does what. One goal for us was to create an educational culture within the community, to be able to provide students with goals as to what they can study to become a part of our very explosive industry.
I want to recognize your team at Interport Group of Companies for supporting you and allowing you the time to provide your expertise for economic development for Miami-Dade County. During a year when supply chain management, trade, and logistics were part of every conversation, the Beacon Council had the Chief Strategy Officer of Interport Group of Companies at the helm. You did an outstanding job, sir. Thank you, Gary.
Gary still has a couple of surprises up his sleeve, though.
So a lot of people might be surprised to know that my dad's actually a killer racquetball player. You know, he's not a big guy, but somehow he occupies the whole court. And pretty much every time I go back to Miami and play with him, I lose. So there's that.
Boston, you want to go to Scotland? I frequent Scotland. One of my sons lives there. I've gone to all the distilleries, and there is no more Scotch left. So you may not want to go there just yet. Let them produce some more.
I'll come to your house instead.
Gary drank it all.
It's gone. I have a PhD on distilleries.
To be honest, Gary's biggest passion, and where he's had the most impact, is his family.
I'm thrilled to be able to see a few things about my husband, who I love dearly. His number one passion would be his family. We've been blessed with 3 incredible sons and 3 incredible daughters, and a new granddaughter, and another one on the way. So needless to say, Gary is a wonderful father and now new grandfather to all of them.
You're a massive inspiration of ours. If we can be anything like you, then we're lucky people. We love you very much, and yeah, we've got proud children over here.
The most important lesson that I've learned from my dad is that character matters. The way you conduct yourself personally and professionally really stays with people and impacts the trajectory of your life and how successful you can be.
I'm so proud of him. He is an incredible person, always trying to connect people and help people, and never wants anything for it. He just does it, from his heart, and that's really sums up everything about my husband. So congratulations, Gary, I love you, and enjoy this tribute.
Well, Gary, it's difficult to believe that another year has gone by. And of course, that means your chairmanship of the Beacon Council has come to an end. But boy, has it been an exciting year. Who would have thought that with the COVID crisis, we'd actually achieve something that we hadn't done in our 36-year history in terms of jobs, investment, and the multiplier impact of the jobs that were created. We launched very successfully programs like Community Ventures, that's helping our most economically distressed individuals. We launched a Small Business Accelerator, and we even launched a community-wide program to combat the opioid and addiction crisis that we have called Project Opioid. So this has been a pretty amazing year with a lot of activity going on, and just the commitment and dedication that you showed to our core activities with multiple referrals of companies that have either landed or are looking to land in Miami, helping out in our fundraising effort at a time when fundraising was most critical. You jumped in to support Donna and the entire Funding Development Committee. You certainly have wore the stripes well of being the chair of the Beacon Council, and I sincerely appreciate all that you did and look forward to your continued commitment as a past chair of the Beacon Council. Thanks a lot, my friend. Take care.
Gary, thanks for all your leadership at the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. Between COVID-19, a massive wave of new corporate entrants, and now Opportunity Miami, you are the perfect leader for the time.
It's fitting, of course, that Opportunity Miami was born the year someone that sees nothing but huge opportunities in Miami was at the helm for the Beacon Council.
Gary, as we launch Opportunity Miami this week, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your open mind. Thank you for being willing to try something different. And thank you for giving us a shot. And while your tenure as chair of the Beacon Council comes to an end, just wanted to say how much I look forward to working with you as we continue to build Opportunity Miami.
There are thanks sprinkled throughout this meeting, but know that we could keep going on for days. You've been a pillar for this organization for years, and we look forward to continuing to sharing your commitment to making Miami-Dade greater every day. Any idea what's next?
So after this, I can run for president, is what you're saying?
That's right. That's right.
It is with honor and gratefulness that I humbly accept the gavel from my good friend and past chair, Mr. Gary Goldfarb. I want to thank Gary and his officers, Treasurer Olga Ramudo, Express Travel, and Secretary Yolanda Cash Jackson Becker for their hard work and dedication to the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. It's community leaders like these, along with their esteemed elected officials and the Miami-Dade Beacon Council staff, on the leadership of Mike Finney, President and CEO, that makes the Beacon Council the well-respected and successful organization it is today. Gary, I know I've said this several times before, but I would be remiss if I did not mention it again. Thank you. Thank you for your focus, hard work, and dedication in leading the Beacon Council to a record year of companies and jobs coming to Miami-Dade County under your watch. I promise to keep the same intensity, focus, and hard work in continuing the momentum of tremendous growth you, your officers, community leaders, and elected officials at the Beacon Council has done. I want to thank the Beacon Council Board for the opportunity to chair the organization and for your ongoing commitment to the Beacon and Miami-Dade. Our incoming officers for this year are Chair-elect Yolanda Cash Jackson Becker, Treasurer Pablo Pino, TD Bank, and Secretary Javier Gonzalez Sextera. I want to thank our investors. Your support and participation are essential to our ability to drive prosperity for this community. A very special shout out to Bank of America and the Miami leadership team. On behalf of my 2,000 teammates who make Miami home, I want to thank you for your support. My trajectory in this city has been a very interesting one. I came back to this country, this city, in 1977. You can only imagine the changes, growth, and prosperity I have witnessed. My story is very similar to many of you who have made Miami home over the past 30 to 40 years. I was born in California to Colombian parents who wanted us to have access to the American education and opportunities. Well, that did not work out as expected, as my parents ended up getting divorced. My mom, a single parent of 3 kids, decided to go back to Colombia, but soon realized that she, along with her kids, had a better chance in the United States. So we came back to Miami. Quick story, when I moved to Colombia, I didn't know a word of Spanish. After living in Bogota for almost 7 years, we came back to Miami. I did not know a word of English. And now I'm kind of fluent in both languages. But if you ask my family and colleagues, they will say differently. They don't understand my funny English and Spanish accent. Oh well, I can tell you that it did not make a difference since I lived and worked in a melting pot of different cultures and languages. The diversity and inclusion of the city is not found anywhere else. In Miami, you have residents from all over the Caribbean islands, Central and South America, Europe, and of course our own long-established, beautiful Miami natives, who I thank from the bottom of my heart for opening the doors to all of us. I want to thank my mother, who instilled in me to be the best at whatever I was doing. It did not matter what I was doing. Try your hardest and do it better than anyone else. Most importantly, she taught me and instilled in me to treat everyone with respect and integrity. It didn't matter the background, occupation, race, color, gender, sexual orientation, professional or financial status. You treat everyone cordially and with respect. I want to thank my wife, Michelle, who has been my foundation, my believer, my biggest fan, and the core of our family. She gave me a beautiful daughter, a wonderful son, and helped me raise my daughter, her stepdaughter. We will all agree that the current thriving and expanding business ecosystem in Miami makes for an environment that is brimming with long-term growth potential and opportunities. 2 years ago, at One Community, One Goal breakfast, I talked about one of the hardest things I've had to do as a parent, sending my first child off to college. She didn't go far. She's attending University of South Florida in Tampa. I know I wanted her to come back right then and then. Well, not yet. I want her to graduate with her bachelor's, and maybe her master's, but I certainly want her to come back to Miami. We, as a community leaders, in conjunction with the Beacon Council, have an opportunity to work together with great companies to bring the jobs that great talent is looking for, both our local grads and the ones we're trying to lure back. We want high-paying jobs and opportunities to get them here and keep them here versus going elsewhere in the country. This is a top priority for me, and therefore, in the year ahead, I look forward to continuing to build on one of our top priorities for Miami-Dade, strengthening and developing our talent pipeline and providing our workforce, especially displaced workers, opportunities to upskill and reskill so they can participate in this economy. Introducing more apprenticeship programs to educate our students for the jobs of the future, high-paying, knowledge-based jobs that help to strengthen our local economy and competitiveness. None of this happens by itself. Many of us participate in committees and in supporting funding developments to bring additional dollars to our programs so that we can bring new companies to Miami. Miami-Dade County has a lot to benefit from the newly passed $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. We must focus on opportunities to work with companies, community leaders, and elected officials to be in sync and engage, which will be instrumental in securing federal funding to repair and refurbish our bridges, roads, and highways, as well as getting funds that can be earmarked for 40-year, maybe 30-year building recertification. We learned a solemn yet important lesson based on the unfortunate event that occurred this summer in the city of Surfside. I look forward to working with the Beacon Council and elected officials and assisting all of us to secure funding to fortify, refurbish, and beautify our already gorgeous county. I'd like this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for trusting me with the leadership and responsibility of this great organization and business community. I promise to work hard and tirelessly to be the best and do my best. This will be done by continuing to follow the footsteps that Gary and many before him has sent in front of me. I will continue down the path already set by Mike Finney and his Beacon staff, who have worked so hard to build this flywheel. I will continue to accelerate its momentum, leveraging the heavy lifting the Beacon Council does every day to attract new and expanding companies of unprecedented scope and diversity. With your help and assistance, we can and we will continue to build long-term inclusive prosperity for Miami-Dade companies and residents. The sky is the limit. Thank you, and all the best.
When you hear Miami, what's the first thing you think of? The beaches? The nightlife? How about one of the fastest growing cities in the country? A true city of the future. A global hub of 2.8 million people speaking more than 100 languages. And one of the happiest places to work in the United States. Thanks to booming sectors for tech, finance, creative, healthcare, logistics, and aviation, no other city in the country has seen its status as a business and lifestyle destination rise in the past year as much as Miami. Sure, we used to look to the rest of the world for answers once.
Everybody wanted to go to New York or Boston or Chicago or LA.
But something extraordinary has been building in Miami for decades.
Very hungry immigrants came here. So that led to a whole evolution of Miami as a business center and a cultural center as opposed to just being a tourist center.
It's not just the sunshine, it's the lifestyle that you can have here in Miami, where there's something to do for everyone, all year round. Miami's greatest strength is its people.
Did you know Miami is the #1 city for women entrepreneurs? Or on top of the list for Hispanic entrepreneurship?
You want to know the #1 item that every CEO cites to when they talk about Miami? The energy.
It's a city that really wants to compete. Businesses compete every day for talent, and having a city behind you competing for that talent also is a big, refreshing change, actually.
And our talent pool is both international and homegrown.
Talent, 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 and more talent. That's what CEOs care about.
Did we mention location, location, location? Miami's bustling ports make it a strategic focal point by air and by sea.
When it comes to trade and logistics worldwide, we're recognized as a place to be.
Miami is becoming an increasingly more important cargo center and connectivity point.
Everything you plant here grows.
And the seeds are coming from all around. Miami has seen $3.5 billion of venture capital investments in the past 18 months. From your mid-afternoon cafecito to a world-famous art scene you'll see on your way to dinner.
It's also such a great place to come and create.
Plus, isn't there something to be said for feeling welcomed everywhere you go?
I think it's exciting to be somewhere that, again, where the tide is strong and pushing you in your favor, and where there's so many people that are really pushing and fighting to make something happen.
Oh, and one more thing.
We have a robust tax structure that benefits the consumer, but also benefits business. We have no personal income tax because we rely on sales tax. We rely on people spending money.
You didn't think I was going to leave the tax thing out, did you?
Low taxation, great weather, great infrastructure, and getting better every day.
Here, you can work collaboratively and live deliberately.
In Miami, you can break through and you can become successful.
Prosperity is here in front of us. It has become incredibly attractive to do business. And so I hope that you find Miami as your right decision and probably your best decision as you look forward.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining us this year. We really appreciate all the support that we've enjoyed, and we look forward to seeing you in person this time next year.